The biggest Super Bowl storyline might not even be happening on the field, because while teams are grinding through their final practices, a $1.2 million celebration is quietly being prepared, and it's all for one man, Patriots wide receiver Stefon Diggs. And here's the real question nobody expected to ask this week. Could the most talked about Super Bowl moment come from a private party instead of a touchdown? Stick with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand why this celebration is already shaking up how athletes and celebrities show support during the biggest game on earth. Super Bowl week always brings wild headlines, but this one hits different. Reports say Cardi B is planning to spend a massive $1.2 million to celebrate Diggs during Super Bowl 60. Not just a dinner, not just a luxury box, but an entire experience built around loyalty, love, and larger-than-life celebration. Flights, luxury seating, VIP hospitality, and an exclusive party are all part of the plan. And if you think this is just another celebrity flex, hold that thought, because the deeper story is about pressure, expectation, and how the spotlight affects players before the biggest game of their lives. According to reports, Cardi B has invited roughly 100 friends and family members from both sides to attend the Super Bowl at Levi's Stadium. That means travel arrangements, accommodations, premium game access, and full event logistics handled at the highest level. The estimated cost alone has sent shockwaves through the NFL community, because rarely do we see this scale of personal investment in a player's big moment. Some fans see it as over the top, others call it the ultimate show of support. But here's where the story gets interesting. Sources say Cardi is not worried about the price tag at all, because she believes moments like this don't come twice. Think about the emotional pressure surrounding Stefon Diggs heading into this Super Bowl. Every snap will be analyzed, every catch replayed, and every mistake magnified across the world. Now add the knowledge that 100 people close to you are watching from luxury seats funded by someone who wants you to feel unstoppable. That kind of support can be powerful, but it can also raise expectations to a whole new level. And later in this video, we're going to talk about whether this type of spotlight helps or hurts athletes under pressure, because history gives us some surprising answers. The celebration reportedly includes a private venue costing around $30,000 where an intimate gathering will take place whether the Patriots win or lose. That detail matters more than you might think. It signals that this event is not just about victory, but about honoring the journey regardless of the final score. In an era where athletes are often judged only by championships, that message stands out. Celebration beyond results could be a sign of changing culture around how players define success, that there's another layer to this story that has fans buzzing. Stefon Diggs recently hinted that Cardi B might even be connected to potential halftime entertainment discussions involving Bad Bunny. Nothing confirmed, but the possibility alone has added fuel to the media storm. Imagine the narrative if Diggs makes a huge play and later celebrates with a halftime performance tied to his partner. That crossover between sports and music is exactly what makes the modern Super Bowl more than just a game. It's a global cultural event. But let's step back and look at the football side for a moment. Diggs has had a season filled with intense expectations and massive plays. His route running, speed, and ability to create separation have made him a key piece of the Patriots' offense heading into this championship. Analysts say he's one of the most dangerous receivers in high-pressure moments. Still, Super Bowls have a way of rewriting legacies in a single night. One clutch catch can define a career. One dropped pass can haunt a player forever. That's why every external factor, including celebrations and media attention, becomes part of the conversation. Now here's the curiosity gap everyone is talking about. Could this extravagant celebration actually become a distraction? Some former players argue that too much off-field hype can pull focus away from preparation. Others say knowing you're supported by loved ones can create emotional stability and confidence. We're going to compare this situation to past Super Bowl stories later, including players who thrived under celebrity attention and others who struggled with the spotlight. And trust me, the results might surprise you. Sources close to the situation describe Cardi B as incredibly excited and fully committed to making Diggs feel supported. That emotional investment tells us this is not just about headlines. It's about personal connection during a life-defining moment. Super Bowl week can feel isolating for athletes because of intense media schedules and strict routines. Having someone orchestrate a massive show of support could make a player feel grounded and focused on why they started playing football in the first place. Fans online have been split into two camps. Some believe the spending is excessive and unnecessary. Others say athletes deserve to celebrate their achievements however they choose. The debate itself highlights how the Super Bowl has evolved from a pure sporting event into a massive entertainment spectacle. Luxury experiences, celebrity involvement, and social media narratives now shape how fans perceive players and teams. Another interesting angle is the psychological impact of guaranteed celebration regardless of the outcome. When players know that win or lose they will be surrounded by positivity, it can remove the fear of failure. Sports psychologists often emphasize that athletes perform better when they are not consumed by anxiety about public reaction. That means this celebration could theoretically help Diggs play more freely on the field. But of course, not everyone agrees with that theory. Let's talk about the historical context for a moment. The Super Bowl has always attracted celebrities, but personal celebrations funded at this scale are extremely rare. We've seen players throw massive parties after championships, but organizing something this elaborate before kickoff shifts the narrative entirely. It turns the pregame environment into a mix of competition and cultural spectacle. And it raises a fascinating question about how modern athletes balance personal life with professional focus during the most important week of the season. Here's something else to consider. Media attention surrounding off-field stories often shapes public perception before the game even begins. If Diggs has an incredible performance, this celebration will be framed as legendary support. If he struggles, critics might argue that distractions played a role. That's the double-edged sword of fame. Every decision becomes part of the storyline. We also can't ignore the financial angle. $1.2 million is an enormous sum even in the world of celebrity spending. Fans have been calculating how many luxury suites, private jets, and premium hospitality packages could be included in that figure. It shows just how massive the Super Bowl economy has become. Prices skyrocket during championship week, and securing accommodations for 100 people requires serious planning and coordination. But beyond the numbers lies the emotional core of this story. A partner wanting to create a once-in-a-lifetime memory for someone stepping onto the biggest stage of their career. That human element resonates with fans regardless of how they feel about celebrity culture. Support systems matter in professional sports, and players often credit loved ones for helping them survive the pressure and criticism that come with fame. Now here's where things get really interesting. Some insiders believe this celebration could influence how other high-profile couples approach major sporting events in the future. Instead of quiet dinners and small gatherings, we might see more large-scale support experiences designed to boost morale and create unforgettable memories. If that happens, Cardi B's plan could mark the beginning of a new era in athlete celebrations. Let's bring it back to the game itself. The Patriots' offense relies heavily on timing and chemistry, and Diggs' ability to stretch the field forces defenses to adjust coverage schemes. That opens opportunities for teammates and changes the entire dynamic of the playbook. Coaches have emphasized discipline and focus leading up to kickoff. So the big question remains. Will this massive off-field celebration energize Diggs, or add another layer of expectation he has to carry onto the field? There's also the cultural significance of music and sports intersecting at the Super Bowl. The halftime show often becomes just as memorable as the game. The mere possibility of Cardi B being involved has fueled speculation across social media. Fans are imagining surprise performances, crossover moments, and viral celebrations that could dominate headlines long after the final whistle. As we approach kickoff, the tension continues to build. Cameras will be scanning the crowd for celebrity reactions. Every catch Diggs makes will likely cut to shots of Cardi B and their guests celebrating. That kind of visibility adds drama to each play. And in today's NFL media environment, those moments often become viral highlights that extend far beyond the game itself. Let's talk strategy for a moment. Veteran players often say the key to performing in a Super Bowl is treating it like any other game while embracing the magnitude of the moment. Balancing focus with excitement is crucial. Knowing that an enormous celebration awaits could provide motivation, but it also requires mental discipline to stay locked into every snap. Fans are also debating whether celebrations like this create unrealistic expectations for other players who might not have celebrity partners or massive support budgets. Some believe it highlights inequality within sports culture. Others argue that every athlete's journey is unique and should be celebrated in their own way. The conversation itself reflects how modern sports fandom extends beyond statistics and into personal narratives. Another layer of intrigue comes from the timing of the report. Revealing such a massive celebration less than a week before the Super Bowl ensures maximum media buzz. That could be intentional or simply the result of insiders sharing details. Either way, it guarantees that Diggs enters the game with an additional spotlight shining on him. We also have to consider the perspective of teammates. While football is a team sport, individual storylines often dominate headlines. Some players thrive on the energy created by celebrity attention, while others prefer to stay under the radar. Maintaining locker room chemistry during a week filled with media distractions is one of the biggest challenges for any championship contender. At the end of the day, this story blends sports performance, celebrity culture, financial extravagance, and emotional support into one massive narrative. And it raises a bigger question about what success really looks like for modern athletes. Is it purely about trophies and statistics, or does it also include the ability to create unforgettable moments with the people who matter most? Before we wrap this up, I want to hear your take because this is where the community conversation gets real. If you were stepping onto the field for the biggest game of your life, would a massive $1.2 million celebration motivate you or add extra pressure? And do you think this kind of support changes how players approach championship moments? Drop your thoughts below because your perspective shapes how we understand stories like this. As Super Bowl 60 approaches, the excitement continues to grow. The game will ultimately be decided between the lines, but narratives like this remind us that the NFL is also about human stories, relationships, and the cultural moments that surround the sport. Whether Diggs delivers a legendary performance or faces tough challenges on the field, this celebration ensures that his journey to the Super Bowl will be remembered long after the confetti falls. And here's the final curiosity gap I want you thinking about as kickoff approaches. If this celebration becomes the most talked about off-field moment of Super Bowl week, will it redefine how we measure impact beyond the scoreboard? Because sometimes the biggest stories are not just about wins and losses, but about the emotions, connections, and unforgettable experiences that turn a football game into a global event watched by millions around the world every single year with passion.